Are we set to say goodbye to Reece James at the end of the season? Today, my friends, we have a massive report that came out late last night from the Times. I have to get through that. And on top of that, we discussed the official kit leaks for next season. So my friends, I hope you guys have been enjoying the content. Check out the review and post-match news that came out late last night. And if you guys like the video and want to support the channel, hit that like button. That lets me know if you guys are enjoying the content. So let's not waste no more time. So let's start things off. And courtesy of the renowned football leaking website Footy Headlines, we are getting our first looks at next season's home kit and away kit too. Now, this seems to be one of the first real pictures and leaks of what the kit is set to look like. And I have to say, I'm loving this type of like wavy design on the shirt. As we know, Nike are going for a lot of these like custom designs to make it very hard for, fake shirts to get made. And I think the color scheme of having like this, orange and like, teal green or teal blue, the color scheme goes really well. And I'm liking this continuation of the designers playing with our club badge by changing the color scheme. I think it creates this conformity with our shirts, which makes everything balancing really well, in my opinion. And for myself, this is definitely a must buy for next season. But I'm going to be a bit of an old head right now, and I'm going to say I feel like this season's home kit is one of the best home kits I've seen ever, and it's up there with any of the best kits of the past 20-25 years. And it's a shame that we can't hold on to this for another year. Yes, I understand what the game's about these days. You have to milk fans for their last pennies every single time you got to find opportunities to make money from them. But it's a shame that we've won nothing currently with this kit, because it's one of those kits where if we won something this season, you're always going to remember this one and have fond memories for it. And it's a shame that we just can't hold on to this for the next 2 years, because yeah, I think it really is that clear. But again, I like this design. You guys share your thoughts and opinions on that. Of course, we are now getting our first looks at the away kit for next season. And again, this off-white, salmon, blue, everything blends in perfectly. This conformity that I'm saying, this creates this nice balance. I feel like with these kits recently, it does give a bit of like superhero vibes when the players wear them. And for how beautiful these kits are, I have to start seeing some silverware now, because yeah, I'm sorry, these kits can't be lost in time and just completely forgotten about, because I think Nike are coming with their A game, and you're seeing like a better idea of how it could look. The nice wavy design, all that looks so good. Alongside this away kit as well, I mean, for myself, these are must buys straight away, instantly. And this reflective badge that they're continuing to just produce, I mean, it looks really good in my opinion. So you guys share your thoughts and opinions. How do you feel about some of the official kit leaks now for next season? Like, do you support them? Do you buy into them? Or do you have some reservations? And do you not like maybe some of the designs that they're producing for next season? Let us know below in the comment section. And now we move on to the final major part of today's video. Are we planning on selling both Conor Gallagher and Reece James at the end of this season? Now, this news came courtesy of Duncan Castles from the Times. And listen, the Times won't put out fake reports for no reason, because they're a reputable media outlet in this country. I'm going to start with the article, but as I go on, I'm going to have a very nuanced understanding of this story. So if you guys care to hear my full perspective, hopefully you guys watch to the end, maybe comment at the end of this video, because I feel like there isn't a black or white way to determine and understand this story. But let's start with things. And naturally, it seems like we could be forced to sell both players before the 30th of June to comply with FFP and not fall foul to these rules. As we've seen recently with both Nottingham Forest and Everton, the Premier League aren't making excuses up for anyone right now, and you will be punished. Now, in the case of Nottingham Forest, it seems like technicality suggests that they only fell foul of FFP by a few months, and that was because they were waiting to receive money for the sale of Brennan Johnson. So they could possibly get that 4-point reduction reduced when it gets appealed. But for us, on the other hand, we won't have those same technicalities to fall on. And I think our punishment could be more severe, and we can't afford any points deduction with the current state of the squad at all. The report mentions that Reece James is now someone that could potentially be looked to get cashed in on. We know that his contract ends in 2028, but the report says that a fee of maybe 60 million or over could be enough to persuade us to entertain a sale. So that's basically the news. Right now, I'm going to dive into this story. I'm going to structure things, and let's start off by discussing what is going on with Conor Gallagher, because I think, as we all know right now that we aren't hearing any talks of any contract extensions, it's quite clear that he is set to go. As time runs out, he is approaching his final 12 months of his deal. But I also think there's another perspective which isn't really being thought about or understood, and that's the fact that what says that Conor Gallagher decides to play with the club and entertain a sale when he has 12 months left in his deal? What is stopping Gallagher from staying here until his contract expires, where he can then leave on a free? And by leaving on a free, it's going to be better for his career, because more clubs will be open, of course, to entertaining a move for a player that comes with no transfer fee. Gallagher can then earn a massive signing on bonus and even bigger wages because he comes with no transfer fee, and he becomes a lot more attractive to bigger and better clubs. As we've seen recently with Gallagher's time under our new sporting directors, he has constantly rejected sales to clubs like your Evertons, your West Hams. If the sporting ambition doesn't meet his personal ambitions, he won't be entertaining any sale. So is there even necessarily a guarantee that we are definitely set to receive money for the sale of Conor Gallagher, especially for fees of around maybe 35 to 40 million pounds? I think a recent example, a very small example though, was Ian Matson's loan move to Borussia Dortmund, where we agreed an additional 12-month contract extension to just maintain his transfer value. If Gallagher threatens to remain here until his contract expires, that could force us to have to find a way to negotiate a contract with him, or maybe could we potentially look to add an additional 12 months extension to his existing deal just to maintain a bit more market value to cash in on him. I think that's the best possible, safest direction I can see that is beneficial for the player and most importantly for the club. But as I'm saying, the fact that we hear no news, no updates around contract extension talks, and it seems like we must generate sales before the 30th of June to comply with FFP, is not looking as confident as it once was, in my opinion. Now, let's move on to discussing Reece James. Now, as I said, I'm going to have to be quite nuanced with my take, because I see it like this. I'm not going to disrespect the times and give my fans take off their talking nonsense, trying to hate on the fan base and take advantage of the fan base because obviously we drew against Burnley. It doesn't work like that in real life. They don't care. It's just business. It's very uncaring, but that's how the media has always worked. But to start off with things, I'd say ideally the club would not want to let Reece James go so easily, because we did not give him a long-term contract for no reason. He wasn't made one of the highest paid players at this club for no reason, and he was not made the club captain for no reason. But my fear is, with how bad our current financial position is right now, could we possibly entertain a sale if the right offer was made that could help us in the short term? Because we put ourselves in this situation, and for myself, it will always come down to the fact that we've overspent on areas we did not need to address right now. You're making additional purchases for very young midfield players that are nowhere near close to playing first team football for us. That was an outlay of nearly over 150 million on your Ugos, your Cassadets, your Washingtons, etc, etc. But going back to the drastic measures we could potentially be forced to take, let's look at some of the guaranteed money we are hoping to secure. You're looking at Armando Broja's currently failing loan spell at Fulham. Now, I think most of us now in hindsight realised he should have stayed with us to rotate and compete alongside Nico Jackson. And it continues this recent trend of us becoming hindsight FC, where all this foresight towards this master plan we're looking to build, in reality, everything blows up in our face, because Armando Broja didn't even make the matchday squad when Fulham played against Sheffield United in their 3-3 draw yesterday. Muniz has taken his spot in that first team. He's gone on an incredible run of form. And at the moment, the only money we are receiving for Armando Broja is the 4 million clause, which suggests that if he doesn't play more than 60% of Fulham's remaining games this season, they'll have to cough up and pay the money. But for Fulham right now, that's nothing, because Rodrigo Muniz, a guy they actually own, is bringing in the goals they thought Broja could potentially help with. And this whole reason why he was sent out on loan was to essentially boost his market value, because we hoped that if he played more consistently week in, week out, hopefully he'd score more goals and hopefully attract the attention of more interested parties. But we've turned down offers of around 35 and plus for him, hoping to receive around £50 million. Right now, that ain't gonna happen. Right now, you'd be lucky to earn around 25 to even £30 million a Broja. And yet again, it's another example of this grand master plan blowing up in our faces. On top of that too, there was no guarantee that once Maatsen's loan spell at Borussia Dortmund ends, that we are guaranteed to receive that €34 million upfront, because Dortmund don't have the money right now. And unless Bayern Munich decide instantly we're going to buy Maatsen right now, you can't rely on anything. Because even with Bayern, they'd have to sell Davies first, and that hasn't gone through. So if you're Borussia Dortmund, there's more reason for you to negotiate on that and do that after the 30th of June. You look at Romelu Lukaku. Currently, Roma's only chance of securing him on a permanent deal is if they get Champions League football. Now, they're very close to cracking into the top 4 spot. They've done very well under De Rossi, and if they win the Europa League, if they've got to 2 consecutive European finals, that could guarantee their Champions League future, which means that Lukaku's 37 million release clause could get activated. But at the moment, you're flipping a coin right now, and you're hoping that this is the best possible outcome. And even for the other players from Cobham, such as Trevor Chalobah, how close is he to getting sold? Where are the latest reports surrounding interest around the player? I'd like to think that in the future, all this worry we have right now would have meant absolutely nothing, and hopefully, because we do have some smart business guys at this football club, they have planned for futures like this, and there are plan Bs and Cs and Ds in place that can still help us comply with FFP, whilst also guaranteeing some sales. But at the same time, I just feel like with all this talk of master plans since this new ownership's taken over, and given the power to the sporting directors, because we keep forgetting this distinction, the sporting directors have full say and control of how this club gets built. It's not Todd Boehly, it's not Egbali, just because they do a few negotiations to help us buy players. That's all they have to do. But at the moment, every decision we make has blown up in our face, and I keep stressing we are like hindsight FC, and I'm worried that is this the summer where we have to take certain sacrifices because we're forced to take the consequences to earlier actions. So to end things on Reece James, it now comes down to this. You've been injured for most parts of this season. Obviously, you are the club captain. You have incredible loyal ties to the club. But you think to yourself, is this a different Chelsea football club to the club I once grew up with? How close is Chelsea now to achieving my sporting ambitions of winning titles, silverware, European silverware? Do I allow this Real Madrid train an opportunity to just leave? Because with a club like Madrid, for example, they won't be waiting for Reece James forever. They won't do that. There'll be other guys they turn to. And you look at this Madrid team, they've announced Mbappe is set to be there next season. They're hoping to tie down a deal for Alphonso Davies. You think to yourself, if I now become part of this Real Madrid train, this is one of the rare historic moments where you only see a super team that is this good individually as well as this balanced collectively as a unit a handful of times. Every 10 years, every generation. You would be that final missing piece to create the Real Madrid super team where you could be a legacy club, where your career could go down in the history books with all the silverware, European silverware titles that could now potentially be under your belt. Is it as easy as just rejecting this possible future to stay at a football club where we, as the fans, don't even know where we could be from next season, and we don't even know when we could be ready to compete again, and by the time we are, could it be too late for a Reece James? It might sound a bit doom and gloom, but we have to look at all the nuances and the understandings behind why this report exists and how we've got to this situation as a football club. You might think, Nini, 60 million for a player that's on, a contract till 2028. It doesn't make any sense. We could get 100 million. Yeah, of course, I'd love for that to be the case, but the reality is the market will only pay what they value our players at. And even when we sold guys like Havertz and Mount, originally we wanted around like 10 million each extra for the sales of each players. We haven't necessarily got the fees we've wanted. We've done similar things, priced out your Trevor Chalobahs, priced out your Gallaghers, priced out your Brojas. And right now we'll be forced to have to sell. And after another disappointing, terrible season where all the Sharks and clubs will know that we must sell to comply with FFP, they're going to come in with even less offers right now because there's not much we can do, because that's how it works with clubs on this level. So my friends, we have to see what happens. Of course, if we can secure Europa League football, if we won the FA Cup, this can save a lot of concerns. This opens up many possibilities, sponsorship-wise, player-wise, etc., etc., and we could be safe. But in the meantime, if these things blow up in our face, as many things have done over the past 2 years, we could be confronted with some very nasty realities that none of us was hoping we get to, but we've ended up forcing ourselves into these situations based on this hasty, scorched earth approach to rebuilding this football club. So my friends, that's everything I have to say. I'm hoping that we don't get any more Reece James reports, because I don't want this guy to leave. He's one of our only genuine world-class players that could get into any team in the world. And if you want to win things, you need players of this level in your squad. It's how the game works. Gusto is great, but Gusto is not replacing Reece James, who is one of our best players, one of the best players in his position, in the league, and across Europe. So that's everything I have to say. Hit that like button, share your thoughts and opinions. I'm Nini FC, this is BlueLionsTV. I will see you guys tomorrow, some more videos. Enjoy your Easter. Cool.